Hello and welcome to this new video in the SQL section. In this video, we will learn about a new constraint named as unique. In the previous two videos, we have seen two constraints, namely primary key and not null. Let us understand how unique constraint is different. For this, we just revisit what we covered earlier, since this is related to it. We have seen the primary key constraint. What it does is it imposes uniqueness and avoids any duplicates, and no null values are allowed. However, what we also discussed is that there can be only one primary key in a table, and you cannot apply primary key individually on separate columns. And why you wanted to do that is because you wanted uniqueness. So what is the option for this? For example, let's say there is another column or field called as email. Field is just another term for column. Let's say varchar. Now you have to ensure that you also maintain uniqueness in email so that there are no duplicates for this. But the problem over here is I cannot have a separate, primary key constraint added to each of these fields differently. So what is the solution? Here comes another constraint called as unique. So unique constraint offers the similar feature what primary key does on an initial level. So it maintains uniqueness as the name suggests. So if you create this table, let me just say 3. If you create this table and then insert the data into this, let us add the field email over here. For example, the email is a varchar, so I'll enclose in single quote. So I say jack123@gmail.com, and then we will insert this. Fine. Now I'll say select star from employees 3. So now what does unique do is, if I copy this and paste, I'll just change this. This is a different employee, right? So for example, this way, it will ensure that I cannot insert the same email ID in the email column. Look at this, violation of unique key constraint. Cannot insert duplicate key in the object employees 3, but the duplicate key is jack123. So this is offering me one of the similar features what primary key is doing. And this is the way how you impose uniqueness when you run out of limitations of primary key, where you cannot add primary key on more than one column, only to achieve the uniqueness. The best part is that you can have more than one unique constraint. Now this is one condition on one column. Similarly, if let me just quickly copy this entire thing in a new window and make it 4. So tomorrow, if there is something else which you want to identify uniquely, for example, let's say in India we have unique identity like PAN card or Aadhaar, or in US we have SSN, and those are also unique. So you can also make this unique. So let's say this is a varchar or whatever data type you wanted. You can make this unique this way, so that now the limitation of primary key has been overcome in this way. So you can have uniqueness imposed individually on each and every column in this way. And the maximum limit of having or the question could be, okay, how many such fields can have unique constraints? So you can have up to maximum 999 unique constraints, which means that up to 999 columns can individually be defined as unique constraint. So that is the best thing. But why just 999? Why not less or more? There is a reason to it, which we'll come to it in future when we learn advanced things. But for that, we have to spend a lot of time. We'll come to that. So this is it. Now there is one test that we have to do. What does primary key do? It offers uniqueness, and it also ensures that there are no null values. So let us test this for nullability. For example, this is the third employee, and this is the unique constraint column. On this, I'm going to purposely try by passing null value. Execute this, and it has gone, right? So you see one thing, this is the difference now. So this is also a question which is asked often in an interview. What is the difference between primary key and unique key constraint? So this is it. What happens is primary key doesn't allow any nulls, but unique allows nulls. But the question is, if it does allow nulls, how many nulls does it take in? So for example, if I say 4 and run this, now you see it is throwing an error. The duplicate value is null. Why? Because the unique constraint will ensure that there is unique value and there is already one null. So it cannot allow more than one null. So many people, there are two things. They tell the first part that yes, it doesn't allow null. That is the difference between primary and unique key. But if asked how many nulls, they are not able to answer. The only it takes is one value. One time it will take null. So that's what you have to understand. But that's a problem. That in case if you don't want nulls also to be allowed, what do you do? Simple. So you do unique and not null together in this way. So for example, you drop the table and execute this. So now you can run this. This has gone through. But if you run this, it says column doesn't allow null. So now you are achieving a little bit similar feature what a primary key does for you in terms of two aspects. First is to restrict duplicates and the other is to restrict nulls. So whenever you have unique constraint, you need to think, do you need to allow nulls or not? If yes, then there is no issue. If you don't want, then add the not null constraint that we learned in the last section or the last video. So this is about unique. However, by no means we can say that unique constraint is exactly similar to primary key. There are many differences that we are going to learn further and you'll understand. And it can't be just covered in one concept, one example, because there are plenty of things with it. But right now, you have to understand the differences which I have mentioned. That's it on unique constraint. See you in the next video.